I have to talk about, so Pete Alonso. I don't follow baseball much because it's just awful and embarrassing. Pro sports in general now are just really just a flaming bag. I'm sorry, I just spilled goat milk all over the place. But Pete Alonso's first baseman for the New York Mets. Okay. I don't follow baseball. I don't know who's good. I don't know who's bad. But I do pick up on these things. And he fielded a ball, made a throw, and the pitcher covering first base, whatever his name is, had to jump for it and be athletic and come down on the base, and he sustained an injury during this event. And of course, the way it's all positioned, the way it's all being talked about now, and I can't ignore this because it's such a there's a greater ripple effect that we're seeing throughout everything that you can learn from a lesson here. And this is why this stuff needs to change. They're getting on the person who made the throw, the Pete Alonso throw. Like, oh, he threw it high and it led to this injury. Oh, and then his teammates are like, comforting Pete Alonso and oh, they're so close together and all this. Like, what? And here's the thing. Injuries are a big deal, no matter what level. If anybody comes to me with a stub toe or a splinter, I will take it as seriously as if you had a tumor or concussed from a car accident. That is not what I am downgrading here. It is this out of ourselves blame to why something happened to us. And when you see it on the national stage, like a Mets game or from a New York market, from one of the biggest markets in the world, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's going around this. What he should be as a person in sports or a competitor is pissed at himself for throwing the ball high, that it didn't lead to an out, that his team is now having to dig themselves out to go even further from his mistake. Damn it, let's go. That's how we need to look at sports. That's how it used to look at sports. But now it's, not Mets didn't get the out or did get the out. I didn't even see it. But it's, oh my gosh, look what he did. And it led to, look at that. Here's the deeper meaning here. We need to own, if we sustain an injury to any level, the individual has to accept full 100% responsibility, full fault. Not from a standpoint of they need to feel bad about themselves or unless they need to go through that. But the next steps coming from that starting point will be clearer, will make sense, and will actually affect this person for the greater moving forward. But that starting point being, I injured my leg, my hamstring, or whatever because of Pete Alonso's throw, or I'm not blaming Pete Alonso, but the world is, whatever it's going to be. Now they're going to rehab to patchwork the hamstring. He's not going to look at the totality of the entirety of who he is as a person as to what would affect a muscle's ability to manage a force of any kind. It's not just strength of the muscle, because strength of the muscle is going to be affected by everything. Just like foods don't affect you nearly as much as the people at the table, all the other things going on. So there are other things here that this person is going to have to see in himself or herself, whomever is going to sustain this moving forward. But the starting point being a blaming vector outside of yourself. We do this and see this with genetic mutations. You see it with mold. You see it with parasites. You see it with toxins. You see it with EMFs. You see it with foods. You see it with dyes. You see it with GMOs. You see it with spouses. You see it with temperatures. You see it with states. You see it with latitude, longitude. You see it with tackling. You see it with mechanics of throws, pitch counts, style of throwing. My God, it just ends up leading to what are we going to look at to blame? And that leads to chasing another form of blame, constantly chasing outside ourselves instead of the starting point being, wait, I'm fully responsible for this. What do I need to go in and look at this? Wow, I'm going to be pulled away from a sport I love. I'm going to be possibly docked pay. I'm going to be, wow, there's a lot at risk here. Wow, there's a lot that, okay, what's important to me? All right, I need to go in, I need to do this, I need to assess training. What is training? I need to even assess what is nourishment, what is rest. Wow, this feels different than anything else. I'm feeling this, and I'm understanding energy, and I'm understanding skill set, and there's things that I can't do for the next 14 days or 3 weeks, but I can do these other things to get better as a competitor in this field of what I claim I love, like throwing a baseball, to earn money. More importantly, to win a World Series. That's the whole point of playing, is to win. And then understanding moving forward the next injury and the next injury and the next injury. And then when you retire from your sport, you understand all symptoms. And then when you understand all symptoms, you understand all injuries and all symptoms, and then your family understands them. And then as a group, you're living together from that starting point being my child's skin, my wife's hormones, my back, it's not this caused this is this cause, we need to fix this, spot treat this, because then that has you starting from we need to do all the right and healthy things. We need to make all the perfect throws. The roads need to be paved. The weather needs to be perfect. The house needs to be built with no Wi-Fi and mud. There has to be absolute exact measurements of everything going on. Otherwise, we do not thrive. And that reality is exhausting, confusing. Kid will speak the truth, mom will speak the truth, dad will speak the truth, their bodies will speak the truth, with everybody wanting to blame everything outside themselves. So that's why I'm saying, when I see an injury in the Major League Baseball, I'm like, God damn, because I see the ripple effect coming from that right there and the way everybody's talking about it. That right there is simple. Hamstring injury? Simple. Easy? No. But to blame an errant throw and then have that lead to this, to this, to this, we do it. It's one of the biggest reasons I can't watch pro sports now. It's unreal. And then what ends up happening, sadly, is we model that as some sort of system, as a high performer. They get it. They get performance and human healing, and they understand. I'm going to model from their model. They're the furthest from understanding that. They break more rules in pro sports to be able to do what they do. They break more rules in healing. There's more ignorance. There's more covering up and hiding. It is the furthest example from how you would need to understand yourself moving forward. It's not avoiding injuries, and it's not that injuries are bad. It's not avoiding symptoms and being symptoms as being bad. It's not preventing injuries or preventing symptoms, not at all. But this is an opportunity to see himself more and see who he is as a human being existing in this world and performing in a sport that he loves to do. Not the whole blaming. It's not even that he's blaming, because I know he was quoted as saying, whoever the pitcher was, that, oh, I felt a pop before the throw, blah, blah, blah. The fact that he even needs to say it just makes no sense. So again, it's not isolated to baseball. It's not isolated to the Mets. It's not isolated to a hamstring. It's not isolated to a pitcher. It's a societal sinking ship. And I said this when I published my book. I said it is not a baseball problem that we're seeing with Tommy John surgeries and arms. It is a society concern. And nobody listened then, and that was fine. That was 2018. I've been doing this for 25 years. It is more critical now because, again, it is not just a hamstring. It is that guy's entire livelihood and everything that he goes into moving forward. Every symptom, every injury, everything, and then the whole totality of the entire team, how everybody's looking on, the millions observing this game, the millions hearing the broadcast, the millions hearing there was Pete Alonso's throw that caused the injury, the millions that now are going to talk to millions, and then everyone's going to go, oh, what did you do? What did you do? How did you cause this? Oh, I wonder why that happened. How are you going to alleviate, solve, or figure out this? And then medicine, more treatments, more blame, more fault, more metrics, with nothing coming back to the individual being fully responsible for their outcome. The individual has to own full responsibility, accountability, and ownership, whether it's a symptom, whether it's an injury, because these are opportunities. We cannot, in any way, shape, or form, even if it's an accident, Even if somebody hits you, even if you cannot blame. Your body's response, your interaction, your event, and your experience is yours. And now you go do the work from that starting point, and holy shit, your next steps become very, very clear. More importantly, they affect the grander days coming forward, because that's why that happens. It's for him to prepare for something huge coming forward, if he wants it. If not, the next big thing comes forward, he crumbles, we blame something else outside, everyone tries to soften the league to try to protect everybody, like we're doing with all these rules. Can't block the bag, new bases, bigger helmets, pitch counts, detoxing your house, no Wi-Fi at night, no foods this, eat this, drink this, avoid this, optimal sun, optimal this. It's not working. It's not working, and that is just a microcosm of the bigger deal, and that's the concern I'm speaking about here. It's not Major League Baseball. I could care less about pro sports or where they take it. I care about humans. I care about where we're going as a humanity. But being able to understand that is the most authentic version of yourself is your injury, and that is an opportunity for him to understand himself in this world. And again, I don't know these people. I don't know. I just know what was being presented. There's damage, somebody was injured, and then all the chirping around it and all the stories going on around it. That is what I know. Done. I'm not speaking for either one of them, but I'm saying that if either one of these people were to come to me, this is where we'd go. And if I was guiding or involved in any way, or I experienced it in any way, hell yeah, I need to do something to be able to prepare for any throw. Damn it, I gotta do some things because my team, all right, I need to get better here. What do I need to see here? That is the truth and the understanding here. And now imagine if an entire team was understanding that. And now a whole team is owning themselves. And now a whole team that retires in 5 to 10 to 15 years now are having families or are living amongst society. And now they get this and they're understanding this. Damn! And now when something happens, they're not blaming something outside themselves. They're going, wow, what do I need to understand about myself here? What is this as an opportunity? How can I turn this? How can I make this something that I can change to be able to create an increase in this gathering and experience of life? So, Pete, don't worry about your throw. Get better as far as throwing a better ball to be able to win. Mets, good luck to you. Injuries, there's the truth behind them. Symptoms, don't waste them.